Hi girls and guys, my name's Cyberwise and this is my first video. This is a lot earlier than I was planning on releasing this video. I was hoping to have a couple of months before I released the first video of this channel, but the Hillary Clinton campaign, and specifically Correct the Record and Breaking Barriers, I think they call it, they kind of forced my hand. So as I'm sure you guys know, you've probably read the stories by now, you might have even tangled with a few of them. There's some what we're calling $1 million trolls going around the internet. So the whole thing is a pro-Hillary Clinton Super PAC run by a guy named David Brock, who's supplying $1 million to start a task force called Barrier Breakers, which is basically, according to them, it's an effort to counter online bullying from anonymous people. So basically just Bernie supporters talking about Hillary Clinton's record. And they're going to counter that by spreading some memes of their own and interacting with us online, learning what they can from interacting with us, and then implementing that throughout the primary process and the rest of the election, or so they say. Now, I really disagree with the idea of bought supporters, anything like that on the internet. I actually used to run a YouTube channel, about pretty successful one actually. It got to about 50,000 subscribers, and that was one big thing. I saw a lot of channels coming up and they'd use these pay per viewer kind of services or pay per supporter, where you could just pay this company money and then they'd send views to your channel. They weren't real views, they were dummy accounts, but they'd pump up your numbers, that'd put you higher in the ratings and hopefully get your channel off to a good start. So that kind of stuff always sat really badly with me. It left a really bad taste in my mouth. So the moment I heard about these $1 million trolls who were being paid by essentially by Hillary Clinton because of some loophole, the Super PAC was able to coordinate directly with the Clinton campaign. So these are basically Hillary Clinton's trolls, even though they're funded by David Brock and organized by him. So I decided to start up my own pro-Bernie page in an effort to counter the counter trolls. I love debating with people online. It's one of my favorite things to do. I'm pretty damn good at it. I'm good with my words. A lot more when I'm writing than when I'm speaking, but I'm not too shabby with spoken word. So yeah, I made up my own pro-Bernie Facebook page. And the reason I did that instead of just using one of the other ones is that a lot of the other pages have these rules where you can't mention Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump or the fact that Bernie might potentially lose or anything like that, because they want to keep it positive. They want to use that as a way, I guess, to weed out the trolls. So anytime anyone talks about that kind of stuff, they can just hit them with the ban hammer and done with it. So, and they're also very pacifist kind of pages. They want to present this image of, a united front of Bernie supporters who are just all love and rainbows and all that kind of stuff. Now, don't get me wrong, that's one of the things I love about the Bernie campaign, is that there's so much love and so much acceptance. But at the same time, you do need to sometimes stand up for yourself. I mean, we all got pretty annoyed when Bernie was going pretty soft on Hillary during the debates, but we all loved it when he finally took the gloves off in that Florida debate after his massive win in Michigan and really let her have it. And he ended up getting a standing ovation for that. So I created the Facebook page with this kind of a mentality in mind, that we need to counter these trolls because they're being funded by Hillary Clinton. They've actually got monetary backing behind them. The post said that it was journalists and PR professionals and just top-notch people on the job, and basically countering ordinary people on the internet who are expressing an opinion that just so happens to clash with the status quo and the establishment's opinion. So the basic idea of the page was going to be that, unlike the other Bernie pages, everyone was welcome. That includes Hillary supporters, Trump supporters, Cruz supporters, if there's any out there, the paid trolls, the freelance troll hunters that I was hoping to train up, anonymous members, even people who aren't interested in politics. Everyone was going to be welcome on this page, and you can post pretty much whatever you want, so long as it's obviously abiding by Facebook's terms and conditions. So, no pornography, barrier breakers, please, and no bullying, anything like that. And the idea was that if someone posted something that was offensive or disgusting or wrong, the majority of the people on the page would then attack them with common sense and knowledge, and the problem would sort itself out. And essentially it'd be a way for us to train on the page. We'd get to actually spar with these supporters who came to our page. It'd be a way for us to consider alternate opinions, which is always useful, and just a way for us to communicate, really, to talk about all of the issues that matter, not just the ones that are going to paint Bernie in a good light. So I made this page and it started actually getting quite a few likes. I was really excited, and so I went to bed pretty happy because I'd sort of spent all day making this page. I wake up in the morning, and this was I believe it was April 26, April 27, and I wake up in the morning, the page is blocked. It like I made a group and a page, and both of them were blocked by Facebook for being dangerous or something like that. Yeah, so the page was taken down, and I had no idea why. As far as I could tell, I hadn't broken any rules. The page was only just brand new, so I mean, obviously no one had jumped on there and posted and said anything nasty. The only posts on the page were from me, so I had no idea why it was taken down. I made several appeals to Facebook. The page went up the next, back up the next day, so all's well. But it was still down for like a good day and a half for no apparent reason. So later that day, while the page is still down, all of a sudden I start getting posts on my news feed about what they're calling the Bernie blackout. Little did I know, Bernie Believers, the page that I was most active on, had only just gone back up. It had been taken down as well. So it had gone back up, and a lot of people were talking about this Bernie blackout. And that set me off. The fact that not only are there paid trolls out there spreading propaganda for a candidate who has a subpar opinion, but the establishment on her side, and not only are they not actually countering anything, they're not going around and spreading common sense or correcting the record, as they say. They're actually going around and taking pages, pro-Bernie pages down, positive pages. They're just posting... it sounded like they were posting porn and then reporting the porn, and then the page gets taken down. It was disgusting. And so that's how my hand got forced. I needed to start this YouTube channel because Facebook, I don't have much of a reach. That was just for fun. That was just for me to interact with other Bernie supporters and just troll some trolls. That was going to be enjoyable. But I know what I'm doing on YouTube. I'm pretty sure I can get a few views going and hopefully do something to help this out. So I decided I was going to turn this into my first video, a little bit of a protest video, a bit of a covert anti-troll mission, if you will. So because I'm an Australian, I can't actually donate to Bernie Sanders. I've been wanting to the entire campaign. If I would, I could donate the $27. So if you're watching this and you haven't donated to Bernie, or you want to donate to Bernie and you haven't yet, donate to Bernie for me, would you? Just go and do it. I'd really, really appreciate it. But so because I can't donate, but I want to contribute to the campaign somehow, I decided that I was going to contribute $1 million worth of anti-troll service to the Bernie Sanders campaign. So I want to take down barrier breakers, basically, or at least out-troll them and make them obsolete, make them a joke. So I went onto the page to start anti-trolling, as is the purpose of the Facebook page that they took down. There was only one problem, though. There were no trolls on the page. There was like no one on the page. The comment section was empty. It was a ghost town. And when I say ghost town, I mean that in several ways, because there were comments on the page, or the page said that there were comments, but you click on the comments to expand the comment section and there's nothing there. So for example, one of the posts said it had like 34 comments on it. You click the 34 and then there's nothing. And then there's other ones that says it's got like 10 on there. You click it and there might be 1 or 2 comments in there. Usually just generic pro-Hillary, yay, I'm with her kind of stuff. But that's it. So, I mean, that struck me as weird that not only are there paid trolls, but there's ghost comments on this page. It's pay for statistics, basically. That's the only thing I can think of. You can actually test this yourself. This is fraud you can touch. Go to Barrier Breakers. If you don't know where it is, I've got the link down in the description with everything else that I'll talk about here today, plus a couple of other little bonus links. Go to Barrier Breakers. As much as your skin might sizzle going into a pro-Hillary page, but go there, click on the comments, and you'll see there's nothing. There's nothing. And the weird thing is, if you click on them, expand them, and the comments are gone, you go back to the page or refresh the page, they're there again. So it seems like I honestly don't know how you could do something like this. I mean, I can understand if it was like paid trolls that were going there to post just random spammy generic comments. That I could figure out how they were doing that. But this almost seems like Facebook would have to be in on it somehow. I don't know. Can anyone explain to me in the comments section how something like this might happen? Because for me, I'm at a loss. I've got no idea. So obviously with that, I knew we had sort of a pretty big story on our hands. I knew a lot of burners were feeling pretty angry about this, that, there's these paid trolls out there and that they're taking our pages down, but that to find out that they're not even real trolls, they're not even there. I knew people would be pissed to hear that. So I told the Bernie groups that I was a part of. I told every Bernie group I could find, the ones that I was in, and even the ones that I wasn't in, just went around, found them, told them what was going on, tried to direct people to go and check out this fraud. Not many people were too interested to go and see it because, for one thing, we all expect Hillary to be cheating. She does that a lot. And another, it's kind of hard if you don't know what you're looking for to see what's going on. A lot of the people that I sent there, I didn't even tell them what was going on. I said, just go to the page, look at the comments. And they'd come back and say, oh, I couldn't see anything out of the ordinary. All I noticed was that there's not many comments there. Most of them are yours. So that's the impression that people get. This kind of stuff works. They see it and it's just, they see the numbers and they just accept it on face value. It's very, very easy to get this kind of stuff by people. And so with the Bernie groups not really taking it super seriously, one of my friends actually forwarded me the contacts of someone who was looking into the hidden Bernie groups or the secret Bernie groups. And so I actually talked to this person because this person's a reporter. They're a reporter for the Washington Post. And so I've told them as well that, look, this page it's fraudulent. And she sounded very interested in the story. She kept asking for more information and wanted some actual statistics on it, wanted some numbers. So I went and I crunched the numbers. Now, I haven't heard back from her at all. Doesn't sound like she's interested in the story. Doesn't surprise me. It's an anti-Hillary story, and Washington Post, as I understand it, is sort of pretty establishment. But I'll include a link to a Google Doc or something in the description as well, so you can see the numbers for yourself. But it was bad when I was just looking, but when I actually looked into the numbers, when I crunched the numbers, it becomes so much more obvious that something fishy is going on, that the numbers don't even close to match up. So with the Bernie groups and this supposed journalist not interested in this story, I even went and I told the groups. I sent messages to barrier breakers, and I've been tagging barrier breakers. I've been tagging Hillary Clinton. I've been tagging Correct the Record. I even one of the messages, or a couple of the messages I sent, got checked by barrier breakers, but haven't received a response back. I honestly don't think that they know that people can see when you see their messages on Facebook. I don't think they're very computer literate people, and I think they're just trying to ignore me without realizing that now I know they're ignoring me. That I haven't seen a response from them on their page. All they do is delete comments. That's the closest to an interaction you get with barrier breakers, which is pretty fun. Even Hillary supporters on the page think it's kind of weird that you never see them on there, and they don't get responses either. So since I wasn't getting a response from anywhere, I decided it was definitely time to take matters into my own hands. So I went full on out troll, but in a way that wasn't trolling. I made sure every single comment that I posted was in some way related to the picture that I was commenting on, but it always had an anti-Hillary, pro-Bernie flair to it, and it was always asking, or almost always asking for a response from Correct the Record and barrier breakers. Again, none of them got responded to. They all got deleted. So then I decided, well, I'm going to take my trolling a step further, and I decided to flood the page with Free the Nipple. Because, I mean, Hillary Clinton, as she loves to remind us ad nauseum, is a woman, and she's into women's issues. And this is perhaps, the pay gap, obviously a big issue. There's plenty of issues that women face, but this is the most overt example of double standards and sexism, that the nipples of one gender are outlawed while the nipples of the other aren't. Even though it's weird, that of the boobage area, that's the part that we all have in common. We both have nipples, and for some reason women's are banned and men's aren't. So yeah, I found every Free the Nipple picture I possibly could and started posting Free the Nipple comments. And my idea was I'd start off very, very bland, very benign, no nipples involved, just people protesting and, talking about, look, this is a women's issue, talk about this issue, and would slowly ramp it up. I think it was maybe 20 posts in before I actually posted the first nipple, and you could only barely see it. And from there, I started to ratchet it up more and more, just to see at what point they would take it down. Now, I had pictures with, people in balaclavas, with their boobs hanging out in Times Square or super populous areas, boobies clearly visible. It wasn't until I decided, well, they're not taking these down, they're not responding to this, I'm just going to get a random picture of a chick with her boobs out off the internet who looks like she's made up, looks like a porn star almost. Like not quite, but you'll see what I mean. I'll post the pictures and I'll blur them just so YouTube doesn't take this video down. And so I started doing that. The first picture that I posted, where it was what I call the pretty people posts, it got blocked, it got taken down. I had Facebook pop up and tell me that I might have malware on my computer. I had to do a scan using a scanner that they forced me to download. My account was disabled while I was doing this. When I finally logged back in, all of the posts were taken down. Facebook had asked me to go through a number of the photos in my album and remove any pornography. And as you'll see, there was actually a lot of pornography in the album. They didn't select any of it except for one, and that was the second pretty person picture I posted. So I clicked and deleted that. I jumped through their hoops. But I went back to the Barrier Breakers page, and lo and behold, every single post that I'd posted, it had been deleted, and it's back to its ghost town state. There's just nothing there. Now that to me is quite interesting, that a group that's coordinating directly with Hillary Clinton, who says that she's right into women's issues, deletes a whole bunch of protest free the nipple pictures. Because honestly, I don't think Hillary Clinton is in favour of free the nipple. I don't think she is. I think that's something that we should put pressure on her about, because that's a huge women's issue, and I think that highlights Hillary's hypocrisy, that she only supports issues and women's issues and minority issues and so on and so forth when it'll win her votes. If she thinks that it's too controversial, or there's no votes in it for her, or there's no special interest money in it for her, she doesn't care. She just doesn't care. So at this stage, I'm doing everything I can. I've got actually 2 or 3 accounts that I go onto this page, and I post troll comments, like I said, anti-troll comments, so they're all very nice. It's what I call killing with kindness. I just very cutting logic, very polite though. Essentially the idea is to hammer them with facts until they can't resist attacking me, because they always do. They'll always get to that level where they've had it, they can't beat you with logic, and so they'll tell you to go die in a hole or go jump in traffic. And then, we're the Bernie bros. We're the ones who are insulting people. So if you want to help out, you can. You don't even need to be a member of my page. But again, I'll plug my page in the description and stuff down below. It's called Sanders Soldiers. I love alliteration, and it's kind of a play off Hogan's Heroes, and it's awesome. I love it. Great Facebook page. Only just started, still very small, so feel free to get in on the ground floor. But again, like I said, you don't need to be a member of the group. The idea is just go to pro-Hillary pages, or pro-Trump pages, or even on pro-Bernie pages where there's Hillary trolls, and start killing with kindness. Just be nice to them, be as nice as you possibly can, but biting logic. Don't hold back, don't pull punches if you can help it. And then when they snap, when they call you something nasty, which generally doesn't take very long, take a screenshot. Because they keep talking about Bernie bros, they keep talking about us being the bullies, the ones that are doing all the insulting. And the only evidence they had for that was 2 tweets, and one of them wasn't even a Bernie supporter. Whereas I personally have about 4 or 5 screenshots already of Hillary supporters who almost instantly have just told me to kill myself, or called me all kinds of names. So, I mean, this isn't at all to shame Hillary Clinton supporters. This isn't to be vindictive. This is to break down the propaganda, to make people realize that just because the media says it and repeats it, and just because someone like Hillary Clinton says it, it doesn't mean it's true. Because every Bernie supporter that I've had the pleasure of interacting with has been amazingly nice, incredibly beautiful people. So loving, so kind, so friendly. Some of them not as much as the others. They're a little bit more crass. They're like, I'm an Australian. We like to swear. It's like part of our vocabulary. But that doesn't mean someone's not a nice person. They'll still be accepting. They'll still understand or allow other people's opinions, and they consider things. They think things through. They think for themselves. Whereas I've met only 1 or 2, maybe 3 Hillary supporters like that, where I can actually have a civil conversation with them. The rest of them, they just arc up. Now, that being said, do take into consideration when interacting with Hillary Clinton supporters that the majority of them are older females. they're not 100% computer literate. They're not really that used to the internet. They don't know what they're dealing with. And they keep being told that they're being attacked, which obviously they're not, but that's the way that they feel. And so when Bernie supporters go onto Hillary pages and are talking to them with logic about why their candidate's not the best choice, they feel like they're getting attacked, and so they will get defensive and they will arc up. So that's why I say kill with kindness. Be as kind as you possibly can. Be as polite as you possibly can. Let them know that you're not attacking them. You're just trying to have a political discussion. That's all you're trying to do. And yeah, if you have any good screenshots of killing with kindness, feel free to send them in to me. I'll, again, here's an email address you can send them to, or you can feel free to post them to the Sanders Soldiers page. We also have a competition going on over there. Again, since I can't give any donations to Bernie, I'm going to be buying Bernie gear off, the Young Turks, or off Bernie's own page if I can, or wherever. And I'm going to be giving it to you guys as prizes. So at the moment, we've got a meme competition going on. The last person to post a meme on that wins. And on that note, if you're like me and you can't donate, whether it's because you're out of the country or you can't afford it, find some other way to contribute. Or even if you can donate and you just have some spare time, do some phone banking. Phone banking is incredibly useful, gets people out to the polls. And as everyone knows, as Bernie keeps repeating, when turnout is high, Bernie wins. So phone bank. It can be daunting, especially if you've got social phobia or something like that. But trust me, it gets easier the more you do it. And that first time, it might be scary at first. You get to the end of it and it'll have been a rush. You'll have a little bit of an adrenaline rush and you'll get to go on to the next one. And look, if someone arcs up on the phone, if they swear at you or if they tell you to, whatever, don't take it personally. People don't like telemarketers. It's just a fact of nature. And to be honest, when people are mean like that, it says a lot more about them than it does about you. And protest, guys. Protest, protest, protest. You are experiencing a lot of election fraud over there. As an Australian, looking from the outside in, I'm flabbergasted. I can't believe the stuff that's going on. Like New York, Arizona, you got Massachusetts with, Bill Clinton rocking up to polling places with a megaphone. You got all kinds of election fraud going on. Your election's being stolen from you, basically. Exit polls show Bernie winning in most of the states where he's lost, or not most, I shouldn't say, a lot of the states where he's lost. And look, I'm pretty sure if the actual voting data supported or matched the exit polling, I'm pretty sure Bernie would be ahead right now. So don't let this slide. Don't accept this. I haven't heard much about Arizona lately, and that was staggering levels of voter suppression. So I'm going to, again, link a whole bunch of protests in the description down below. There's also a bunch of them linked on Sanders Soldiers. If you have any other protests going on, please feel free to message me, post it in the comments, post it on Sanders Soldiers, whatever you want to do. Post those protests because they're important, guys. I want to start seeing national protests. You're a country built on rebellion. Start rebelling. But as always, do it peacefully. Kill them with kindness. That's all I have to say. So I've spoken for long enough. This was, again, way longer than I wanted to make my first video. So I hope to see you guys out on the internets. And yeah, for now, I'm Cyberwise, and I will catch you on the flip side.